Our next speaker is Mark Cavall of Photon, who's part of our lovely track sponsors here. He's not joining us live today. He's actually joining us digitally. Hello, Mark. How you doing?
Hey, doing awesome. Good to see you guys. Well, good to be speaking for you. So I wish I was there, everyone. I had something to fix over here. Otherwise, I would be in London with you guys. But definitely next time I'll be there. And thank you for Pocket Gamer for hosting our multiplayer track that we've created for you. Today, I'm here to talk about the state of multiplayer games. For those who don't know who I am, so I am head of growth at Photon Engine, previously at PlayFab, and also I built a studio for Ubisoft and Unity, and had about 10 years of production into multi-million interactive applications. And here I am to give you a bit of an update of where we are at into the multiplayer industry for gaming. Just to get things straight, so many people confuse a bit what is multiplayer. For us, multiplayer, it's something that is real time. So it means that it's something that when I move something on my screen, it's going to also update in real time on your screen. So it's really what we're talking about. It's real-time connection between the players, and that's what really drives the game forward. So a little bit of an update also on Photon. So we've been growing very strong across multiple verticals, but in the gaming industries, we have about 2,500 games that are live. We're running an average of 2.3 million CCUs. So that equates 850 million monthly active users. It's growing like crazy these days. It's very nice to see. And we also have our own non-gaming arms where we have customers like NASA, but also multiple car companies that use our services. And we are the only multiplayer service that is worldwide. So it means we're available in China as well. So we are open for business everywhere with low latency for you. So enough about Photon, and let's go into the main subject. So what you see on the top left is the top revenue for mobile games, bottom left for consoles, top right for PCs, and every place that you see a little green icon is games that are fully real-time multiplayer. So today, all of these games are live ops, obviously. So it means that you have friends, you can share messages between each other. But those are really having like a real-time connections. Those are the ones we are interested in. And as you see at the bottom right, well, the whole metaverse that we've seen in other track today and yesterday is really sparking up. And most of the tech comes from the gaming industry. And obviously, like the big reason why games that have real-time multiplayer are successful, it's because people likes to share with their friends, but also be part of the community. And obviously, if we look at other elements of the mobile industry, such as, how is the other apps doing, like a large chunk of what is being used and is the social environment with your mobile phone. So social communication, photos and videos is what is dominating, and gaming is just a little small subset of what is happening in the mobile sphere. So obviously, if your game have communication, social, people will like that more. That's obvious. So you have to keep that in mind. So let's move a little bit. So we did a little bit of a study regarding which of the games in the top 100 mobile unified are fully real time. And it happens to be that the vast majority of the games are real-time multiplayer. So when we say that the growth of multiplayer is real, now it's tangible. So if we go back 5 years ago, there was just a few games that were real-time multiplayer, and now it's just stacking up to be really the dominating factor. And if I go back in my PlayFab days, when we started PlayFab in 2014, I was able to show pretty much similar stats, which was, there was very few games with live ops, and nowadays 100% of the top games have live game operation. Well, it's the same trend that is happening with multiplayer, which is that games that have real-time multiplayer, real-time connection, bring people together, have presence, are definitely more successful than other games, simply because of the value I've just talked about in the previous slide. But let's dig a little bit deeper in that. So now we dissect which groups or genre of games are actually more popular and that are part of this top 100 of unified revenue. And as you can see, the RPG and strategy are very much strong in taking the space to having those real-time games available for you. But on the contrast, and that's what is the important part of it, is who are the ones that are not, and that's where the opportunity reside. So which sector or genre are truly missing the boat in terms of real-time multiplayer, but are currently in those top 100 revenue, and that we forecast that these genres will be moved away, or these games will be changed to integrate real-time. So now we're talking about puzzle games, casinos, and social/lifestyle games that will definitely have more real-time in the very near future. And if these games don't do it, they're gonna get kicked out and be replaced by new games that will actually convey the social aspects and the presence of real-time. So that's a big opportunity for any gaming studios that would like to go forward. And as part of this study, obviously, that if we go from the top 100 in revenue to the top 500, it just goes crippling down until there's just 5 or 10% of the games that are real-time multiplayer. So on that end, it's a very big opportunity. You should not miss it. Please investigate about what you could do to go in that direction if you want to be successful business-wise, obviously. If we go a bit deeper, so on the left is the consumer spend, as we just spoke about, which is mainly dominated by RPGs and strategy game. And on the right is the downloads. Downloads, obviously, is what people are looking for. And consumer spend is games that are actually attracting the money. And usually these games have a lot in them to do, which means that the player will spend a lot of time and it will actually give a lot of value to the game. The game for them will raise in value because of all the time spent that they have put in it. And then they're going to be part of guilds, they're going to have obligations and meetups. And obviously it will make them spend more in the game. So on the contrast, if we go on the downloads, the hyper-casual sector is definitely dominating in terms of downloads, because you're going to have your fun or satisfaction of play under a minute. While if you for anyone who have played an RPG game, it's going to take them, an hour or two before they start to understand what they can do with their character. Same thing in strategies, where it takes a long time. There's a long onboarding to actually grasp the concept of the game or the meta game that there is inside of it. So there's a lot to actually dissect in that sphere, and how can we reverse the tendency for the players to actually enjoy the game faster. And if we go again in the hyper-casual sector, there's the .io that we have seen, and I've made a few talks in the past regarding those fake .io games, which mainly for many .io resonate as multiplayer games, but there's just a very few of them that are real multiplayer. There's a lot of them that are fake multiplayer. So I invite you to watch previous talks on that. But still, let's continue with hyper-casual. As I said, like through the years, like the downloads of hyper-casual is just going up to this, stratosphere. And we see more hyper-casual games being developed with real-time multiplayer in them. We see a lot of customers coming and asking exactly for that. So the obvious is that soon enough, we should see very good hyper-casual games that have real-time gameplay in them. But then again, like, I really want to show the contrast with RPGs. So I have to move that away. Sorry about that. So so RPG games are very much complicated, right? So should I say over complicated? There's so much to make an RPG. Should I say, giving the value for the players. So it means that it takes a long time to integrate, and those should I say elements that you can implement into your game. I'm not even talking about the CMS and the CRM, the analytic and the marketing tools over them to promote the games and maintain the game. So that's really more about the gameplay itself and the technology behind it to power it. So it takes a long time, obviously, for the players again to understand the scope. So what I predict is that what we predict is that hyper-casual games will integrate more progressions, will integrate more chat in them, and definitely will have more presence, which will gather more retention and other elements. So what we did a year ago is do exactly that. So we launched a little game that took 6 weeks to build, and this game is called Stumble Guy. There you go. This is coming. There we go. So Stumble Guy is available today on the app stores on both Google Play and also on Android, Google Play and also on iOS. And obviously, it's much simpler than RPG. So anyone can go in the game and play, and in 30 seconds, you're going to be matching the game with other players. So we're talking about 32 players on mobile. So this game is available worldwide. The vast majority of our players are in Southeast Asia and Brazil, where internet connection are not necessarily the best, but it's actually playing very well. We have very good reviews of 4.2s and 4.1, and the game just keep growing and growing and growing. So I've put at the bottom some of the elements that we've took from RPG and put in the game. I must also say that the game is developed jointly with Kitka Games. So they've used one of our templates. So when you use the Photon SaaS services that we have multiple templates to get you started very quickly to build a game. And that way you are able to have some values and actually bring the game to market quicker. It is actually available now on Steam. So since not too long ago for $9.99, and it's ramping up very well. We have many players that are happy on that. So there's a lot of content, obviously. So we have 15 maps. It's all in physics. It uses our Photon quantum engine. So it means it's fully deterministic. There's a lot of actions in the game. And that way players can really feel that they are implemented and do the right action with the players around them. So Stumble Guys in numbers. So as I said, we launched a little bit more than a year ago, so in a year and a month. So we've reached 50 million downloads without any advertising of any kind. So the key to build a good multiplayer game, as we've heard in the previous talk from Christopher, is bots. So when you launch a game that is multiplayer, you want to have players that play right away so that they can feel the game. You can use bots to fill those rooms so that the players can play together. So at the start, when we launched the game, we had 5 players and 29 bots, and it took 3 weeks and there was barely any bots in the room. So it was 32 full players. But what was great is that the players could play, could go have fun, and then it improved the retention. And obviously that was very good. Another element that is extremely important to keep in mind is that the D1 retention is high, yes, but also we have implemented tournaments. So tournaments is probably one of the most crucial aspect of this game. So every single players that plays tournaments will have a higher retention, obviously, than the others. And so what we had about 2 weeks ago is a tournament where people have to register before the game. So we had 20,000 slots, and then in 5 minutes, all of these slots were filled. The players has to pay 15 gems to have their tickets to be part of the tournament, and the tournament was 3 hours long. So yeah, 3 hours, and it went in the top 10 stream on Twitch, on YouTube, and the streamers picked it up. And those tournaments has been working very well for about 6 months, but now it's just growing, and now we're going into Europe and United States and other regions to grow even more, and that is all organic, and that's the beautiful part of it. So so if you want to be inspired and follow similar ways to build a game, then obviously I invite you to look at the templates that we have on our website. So we have a new sector inside of Photon. So we have the Photon game founders. So the idea is that for games that are looking for capital to invest in the game, or that really would like to have professionals that understand very well multiplayer, we're going to be able to help you out. So we're going to have a form on our website very soon, but otherwise you can reach me by email at mark@photonengine.com, and I'd be more than happy to start a process with you. But in short, like we help to finance your IP with direct investment or work for hire projects that we have, and so that way you can be completely focused into on the gameplay while we help you out to get the multiplayer aspect of the game right to go forward. So obviously, like we have a lot of experience with multiplayer games, and we're looking forward to see what you guys are doing. So so as part of the offering of Photon, we cover pretty much everything that is possible in terms of games, of online games, except MMOs, but we're looking at that very soon. So we have the Deterministic Engine for every high-pace physics games. So determinism is part of our quantum engine, and quantum engine is what it was used for Stumble Guys, as I said earlier. And then we have our new product called Fusion, which works from 2 players turn-based all the way up to 200 players battle royale game. So it means you can have like shooters on large-scale maps and have a lot of exchange between the players. And then we have all different kind of topologies for you to decide how it would be best to manage the authority of the game. So that was a quick a quick presentation on the state of multiplayer games and current trends. And obviously, I very much invite you to look at this talk again, how it is on YouTube, so that you can review some of the numbers I've showed you prior. But ideally, I will highly suggest that you look at the sectors that are not real-time multiplayer today, because those are low-hanging fruit. And there's multiple service, including us, obviously, that will be more than happy to help you out to achieve real-time multiplayer. Thank you.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask you something real quickly. So I wanted to know what are you excited about in terms of your projects for next year or within this coming year? What's coming up on your side?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so yeah, so as we are waiting for Glenn, Yeah, okay. So next year, well, there's a lot happening at Photon, obviously. So so first, like last summer, we had 50 million, so $50 million investment in Photon from Skills. So definitely that's a lot of capital. But we were already a fully profitable company before that. So that's just putting more weight on the pedal, let's say. So we're growing up the team. So we're very much looking for C and C++ developers to grow some new ideas that we want to bring forward. Also, the team is growing worldwide. So we're currently covering, I think it's 14 countries with team members a bit everywhere. We're just reaching 50 employees and definitely will grow in the year to come. And so what we have found out is that what really ticks the bell for developers is that they want to have value very fast for their development. So it means that as they go forward into their ideas and they want to go and build a real-time multiplayer game, they find out very fast that it's quite hard. So by using the templates that we provide, either for a MOBA, for action game, for a shooter game, or very soon for a battle royale game, then they can just take the template and look at how it is done, and then pick the goodies that we give, and then implement them into their game as well. So we have a different tooling that is around multiplayer. So for example, we have a KCC, which is to have very good control over the character, over the network, and it is over Unity. So by using these tools, it gets you very fast into AAA territory on mobile in terms of quality of networking. And that's really what we want to give away. So, like Photon has been there for 15 years, and we are a company that works at scale. So it means that the more we're giving away for free, the better for us, right? So that's the trend that is going to continue on our side, which is giving as much as we can, and putting the price in terms of our CCU costs in terms of pricing as low as possible. And that's a big attractor for developers that wants to move on forward in the game. And now we've released another, it's a karting game. We've just released it on the asset store of Unity. So it means you go on Unity, you have a free Unity, you download our free asset, and then you use our free version of Fusion, and then you have a karting game, AAA quality, that you can reskin with your own assets and move forward. So so these kinds of implementation on top of our framework would get you started. And another part is the Photon Game Founders, as I was saying earlier. For studios that have an IP that they build themselves, and they would like to implement networking, then we can work with you either by injecting capital or putting our expert team to really get your game wired and ready to scale worldwide. So there are various opportunities that we're trying to put in place, and but obviously, like for those who know Photon, there's never been any marketing around Photon. Our website needs a full revamp, and it's simply because the team is extremely technical. So we're talking about 98% of the team is only doing coding, and we have one administrator, and that's it. So now we're flipping this a little bit to give more visibility to developers worldwide, and bring the multiverse to reality. So hopefully this will be very useful for the developers out there to move forward. I think Glenn is coming soon now. Because I have a few pings, so let's see. But yeah, so to answer your question, there's a lot of happening in terms of development and production for us to give to the developers.
Brilliant, great stuff, Mark. We actually have a question in the audience. Yeah,
sure.
So you want to give the mic?
Hello, Mark. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well.
Okay, this is Eric from Nordnal. So I have a question.
Hi,
I mean, how do you see Roblox? You know, they have a real-time multiplayer framework. You build your game, you design the game in the Roblox studio, you launch it out. You know, do you think that Roblox will kind of grow up to be more and more mature, so that's a feasible way of launching a new game, like your Fall Guys game? Or do you think that it's going to stick in a niche that is different compared to what you're offering now with the templates?
So, so when you first Roblox and other platforms that are similar have an enclosed group of players, it means that it has its own culture. So Roblox is doing very well, obviously, and you know, like they've released a game a year ago that went up all the way to 1.2 million CCUs, which is very good. And you have to have the mindset of what the players like when you go and develop on Roblox. So you don't necessarily have full freedom. You have to be COPPA compliance on many aspects of the game that you develop. And then in terms of promotions, then it's going to be promoted inside of the network of players that Roblox provide. I would say it's, I mean, if you're a fan of Roblox and you love the community, I think it's great that you're going to go in that direction. And but I would say that you're going to have more reach if you go on your own with your own IP. And now you can go on WebGL and have actually good determinism working on the browser. So this will grow with time. So it's all about reach. And will Roblox go through the generations? I'm not sure about that. It's a generation trend, and it's not a place where you're going to go from one generation to another. So you're kind of like, stuck with what you have. You cannot go beyond that. So, okay,